Since the Enlightenment, liberalism has aimed to remove politics from the political. Given that human history is largely defined by clashing worldviews and violent conflict, the impulse to tame this dynamic is understandable. Liberalism, grounded in secular neutrality and rule of law, sought to suppress the passions that drive men to war. Its answer was to distribute power widely enough so that no single leader's rage or charisma could lead a nation into chaos. This project has reached its apex in today's managerial neoliberal regime, where secular humanism serves as the ruling creed and experts housed in supposedly impartial institutions are tasked with determining the truth. But the cracks in this foundation began forming long ago. Our ruling class members have willingly torched the credibility of the very institutions they rely on for legitimacy, all in pursuit of temporary political advantage. That destruction has accelerated a collapse that now feels inevitable. Liberalism faced an epistemological crisis and failed to meet the challenge. Like every tradition that can't defend its intellectual ground, it's watching its authority erode into dust. Neutral governance comes with clear benefits. It claims to free society from bitter conflicts over religion and identity. It promises a greater scale of cooperation by stripping away regional particularities, traditions, customs, and prejudices that make governing diverse populations more difficult. Even technical differences tied to nationhood like currency, units of measurement, or contract law obstruct trade. By creating institutions that claim neutrality in matters of faith, culture, and commerce, liberalism increased the scale of possible coordination. It built what amounted to a minimum viable morality, a lowest common denominator that allowed incompatible systems to function together. So what's the problem? Well, the same minimum morality now appears insufficient to hold anything together. Instead of serving specific peoples with particular needs, modern institutions, staffed by credentialed experts, aim to impose rational, universal standards on everyone. The promise is simple: equal treatment under a neutral system. The administrators of the system are chosen not for their biases, but for their supposed objectivity. These institutions soon become more than arbiters. They become the final authority on truth. In the liberal order, they're the only legitimate source of knowledge. If it isn't institutional, it just isn't real. The economic benefits of this arrangement are obvious. Large-scale cooperation yields immense material gain. Yes, traditions and religious customs may get eroded in the process, but who can argue with abundance? Prosperity silences most dissent. As long as the ruling class preserves the credibility of the institutions, the system works. Managerial liberalism turned experts into the new priestly caste, with one crucial difference: these priests could actually make it rain. As long as the economy grew and the promises were kept, no one questioned the myth of neutral expertise. All the boats were rising. Why complain? Unfortunately for the liberal order, human beings are predictably flawed. The institutions were never truly neutral, and the experts were never infallible. Over time, the ruling class got greedy. They stretched their credibility to justify wars and pushed social engineering, even when it clearly wasn't in the public interest. As their grip on power tightened, they grew bolder. Those who ran the system began treating institutional trust as a political currency to be spent. They traded legitimacy for short-term advantage, eroding the very foundation that kept their authority intact. This trend hit its apex during the global COVID-19 pandemic. Across the board, from the World Health Organization to local physicians, experts promoted obvious falsehoods to maintain power. The betrayal was staggering. After watching that coordinated institutional collapse, the public started asking uncomfortable questions. If the medical professionals, the most trusted experts in life and death matters, could lie, what else would the system lie about? Elections? Wars? Economics? History? Suddenly everything is up for re-examination. This moment terrifies the ruling class. Its members' entire strategy relies on institutional consensus to shape the truth and steer public opinion. This is why disillusioned liberal voices like Sam Harris or Douglas Murray, once celebrated for challenging orthodoxy, now beg the public to get back in the box and stop asking questions. Epistemology is the branch of philosophy concerned with how we know what we know. Under managerial neoliberalism, experts, and the institutions they populate, became the foundation of knowledge itself. Truth was whatever expert consensus declared it to be. The philosopher Alasdair MacIntyre, no relation, argued that the survival of any tradition depends on its ability to confront and resolve an epistemological crisis. In the liberal order, the collapse of institutional credibility marks just such a crisis, and so far the only answer from the ruling class has been to scream "shut up" as loud as they can. MacIntyre also insisted that resolving a crisis requires more than adopting a new framework. It demands understanding why the old one failed in the first place. But the current elite show no capacity for that kind of self-reflection. Instead of humility, we get hysteria, mockery, censorship, and cancellation from experts who should be asking how we got here in the first place. How could we have been so wrong? The global neoliberal order has hit an epistemological wall, and its expert class members lack the wisdom or self-awareness to break through it. They'll continue screeching and lashing out in defense of a collapsing worldview, but the truth is unavoidable. The era of rule by experts is coming to an end. This crisis brings danger, yes, but also opportunity. A new paradigm is emerging, and whatever comes next, it will not be governed by the priests of expert consensus. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click like. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. If you'd like to get these broadcasts as podcasts, make sure to subscribe to the Auron MacIntyre Show on your favorite podcast platform. And if you do, leave a rating or a review. It really helps with the algorithm magic. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter or Gab or Substack or Instagram, if you'd like to get these videos on Rumble or Odyssey, the links to do all of that are down below in the description. And of course, if you would like to support the show, you can head over to shopblazemedia.com, click on the Auron MacIntyre collection, and pick up some merch there to show everybody how much you enjoy the show. Of course, you can watch all of my episodes and read all of my columns over at The Blaze. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll talk to you next time.